Paladin's next champion has just been fully revealed to be KOGA the Lost Hand, a new high vertical mobility flank hitting the realm, and I'll be playing them as soon as they hit the public test server tonight or tomorrow, so be sure to check out the video when those come out. Anyway, let's move on to covering all of the stuff that has been shown about this champion. So his lore, his background is as an ex-member of the Thousand Hands Guild, a criminal organisation led by Zin. And whilst the lore video didn't show too much more than the teasers, he was betrayed by them and has come to seek revenge on his former master. KOGA looks like something from Mortal Kombat with their mask, slightly Kakashi Sensei from Naruto with their hair, and slightly Wolverine with their claws. I mostly like the mashup, although I'm not a huge fan of the default green colour scheme, and the T's Mastery skin in my opinion looks way more epic with a black and gold colour theme. Anyway, let's move on to the champion's stats and abilities. In the stream, they're shown to have a lowish health pool of around 1900 health and rides them out by sitting on the top sideways. This champion has something completely new to the realm, and that is a passive to be able to walk up walls, and basically any vertical flat surface he can just climb up with an almost shadowy ninja magic foot grip, and if you look in third person he's actually just running up the walls vertically across it, so that is rather cool. His main weapons are submachine guns with two large silencers on the top of both ones, and you can see the spent bullet cases flying out the back of it, and you've basically got two gnarly spiked bullet hoses. Each bullet does 40 damage and can headshot for 60 at the max damage range, but does have quite high damage drop off. Ability 1, or your alternative fire, is Shadow Step. You can basically leap forwards and are invincible for a short period. You're doing like a shadow step. It's like a mini Zin Billow, and you can pass through players with it too, and you can do this up to 3 times, as something new as well with this champion is they have a resource system on their hood. All their abilities only use this resource. There's no cooldown on any of his abilities, so there's no base cooldown, but they rely on the resources that you basically regenerate, and some talents can affect it as well. For the first ability, each Shadow Step takes up 1 bar for the Shadow Step, and you have to have it fully charged to this sort of orange glow so you know that you've got it full to be able to use it. The next ability is Agility. This also uses 1 bar of energy, and it makes you move 50% faster for 4 seconds and with a higher jump height, plus you can still fire and attack and use abilities whilst in this mode, unlike Maeve's Prowl. The third ability is Dragon Stance. You bear your Hellkite claws and can slash through the air, and you use 1 bar to get into the Dragon Stance, but also the claws drain the resource whilst it is active, and each slash does 600 damage. Dragon Stance also changes your alternative fire into an ability called Skewer. In this claw stance, you dash forwards towards your crosshair, slashing through enemies in your path, dealing 600 damage to anyone you pass through. And this ability takes up all of your resources you have remaining to use the ability, but acts a lot like Maeve's Pounce in that it is vertical and you basically fly towards wherever you are pointed. And finally, the big bada boom, the ultimate is Cyclone Strike. KOGA becomes damage immune and you get stuck in place, and it charges up his ultimate, and once charged will start KOGA slashing around and dashing around enemies, slashing them in the ultimate area, and does up to 3000 damage if people stay completely in the area. And you can also move whilst this ultimate is going on, so you can follow people around and basically keep this sort of big circular area on enemies, and you'll basically dash around and slash them. So moving on to the 4 talents, the first one is Adrenaline Junkie. When you deal damage with your main attacks, it will also feed back into your ability Energy Bar, so it's one way to keep your abilities off of cooldown, and seems like it might be an easy one to pick up. Blood Reaper, so your skewer deals up to 400 bonus damage based on the amount of energy that is consumed. So like I said before, the ability completely drains the rest of your resource bar, but say if you have a full resource bar, you're going to be doing 1000 damage once you hit an enemy or all the people that you slash through on that attack. The next one is Master of Arms. Successful hits with your SMGs cost no ammo. So basically, if you hit an enemy, you won't lose the ammo for that shot. It's a bit like the Vivian cards where you're getting ammo back, and it just means that you'll be able to theoretically shoot forever as long as you hit all your shots, but you're gonna miss some. And finally, Dragon Fangs is a 4th talent card. Dragon Stance no longer consumes energy, but instead consumes 200 health per second, so that means that you can be in this slashing mode doing 600 damage each of your slashes and not come out of it, and also be able to do your skewer all of the time because you're going to be in this mode. However, you're going to be losing damage the entire time that you're using this ability. So 200 damage every second, so you're going to be a ticking time bomb on yourself basically. The other two things that they showed off were a white recolor with completely different hair and clothing set. I kind of like this better than the original as well. And that golden mastery skin I talked about. Plus an MVP pose which is in the battle pass where he spins and gets his claws out at the end of the match. Anyway, some very early thoughts on KOGA. It sounds on paper that he is going to be one of the strongest flanks when they are released. Perhaps a little bit overpowered, we'll just have to see when it comes around for the gameplay. They have super high mobility. He has that wall climbing which can be combined with his other movement abilities and doesn't actually take any cooldowns or any resources to do, and also makes it so that he has a further high jump which ties into both the two dashes he can use, one that's horizontal but makes you invulnerable, and the other which slices forward like a Mave Pounce, but you can go vertically, basically wherever you aim, and also deals that 600 damage if you land it. Plus passively, you can start off a fight by buffing your movement speed and hope to get the energy back in time with the 4 seconds when you're actually in the action with this buff. And it just seems they pretty much have a few of the other champions' abilities, but just better. Mave's Pounce can only hit one enemy, although you can double it up with 9 lives. Plus Mave is stuck in Prowl without being able to attack, whereas KOGA doesn't have either of those problems. Also, Shadow Step, dodging abilities and ultimates is going to be a big thing. He also has 3 of these. Maldamba can slither once, Xin can counter once. KOGA says, hold my beer, I can combo counter 3 enemies ulting successively one at a time. Also, the ultimate seems rather strong, it can deny the point, but also with being able to move and being invulnerable in it too, seems on paper extremely strong, especially in confined points like Bright Marsh. There isn't going to be much counterplay to get away from this apart from just leaving the point, because you just don't want to die. Plus the good Shadow Step immune into the point, ulti, and they're still immune for quite a while. I mean, it sounds pretty bananas. The damage on the SMGs itself doesn't seem to be too crazy, and there seems to be quite a bit of damage, but with the Hellkite Claws, his burst potential is rather high. I'm also not convinced the 200 damage per second on the Dragon Fangs legendary is enough of a deterrent not to just use them as your main attacks if you're able to have so much mobility in a match, even without using your abilities. You can just get behind people by climbing up the walls for free. I'm not sure how everyone's going to react to the Blood Reaper, a legendary card, either just adding that bonus damage for nothing, pretty much, just an extra bit of burst that you can initiate with. I mean, it's not quite as crazy as the Mave Double Pounce to take out tanks, but it just seems just extra bonus damage for free out of nowhere. But maybe it is a slightly better way to do it than the Street Justice, but we'll just see. Anyway, those are my very early thoughts on KOGA, and I definitely think they're going to be a strong champion coming into the realm very shortly, coming out next week on Wednesday on PC, and I think the next day on some of the consoles, but very close indeed, and on the public test server either tonight or tomorrow, which we'll be playing around with. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button, subscribe for more of my content, and hit that bell icon to become part of the notification squad. As always, let me know all of your thoughts on KOGA in the comment section below, and I'll see you all next time. Joshino.